The morning light slips through the curtains, touching the room with quiet gold. You sit there still and slow, feeling the weight of another dawn. Your shoulders ache, not in pain but in memory. They remember years of reaching, lifting, carrying, and holding on. Now, even raising a cup feels like lifting the past itself. You breathe in, and the air feels thicker than it used to be. But beneath that breath, something stirs, a whisper of movement, a wish for ease. You close your eyes and listen, not to noise, but to your body's soft language. It doesn't shout anymore. It asks gently. It asks for care, for time, for a slower rhythm. You place a hand over one shoulder, feeling warmth beneath your fingers. It's still there, strength, quiet and patient. Maybe it was never gone, only waiting for you to notice. Outside, a bird calls, light and clear. You smile just a little. Today you won't rush. You'll move softly, breathe deeply, and begin again. Slowly, kindly, exactly as your body needs. There are mornings when the air feels heavier than the night before. You wake, stretch your arm, and feel a quiet stiffness that doesn't belong to sleep. It lingers just beneath the skin, like a forgotten echo of effort. Your shoulder, once light and strong, now carries a silence that wasn't there years ago. You move slower, not from fear, but from knowing how easily pain hides in small corners. The world outside hums with routine, cars passing, birds calling, clocks ticking. But your body moves at its own rhythm, slower, gentler, more thoughtful. You remember the days when reaching for a high shelf meant nothing, when carrying groceries, tying your hair, or waving to a friend felt simple. Now those same motions carry a pause, a breath, a decision. You notice how the body changes quietly, without announcement. Not in one day, but in the soft drift of time. You tell yourself it's fine, everyone slows down after 60. But deep down, you miss the lightness, the easy freedom that once lived in your arms. You pour tea, steadying the cup as the warmth fills your hands. The scent rises, familiar, comforting, patient. It reminds you that everything, even stillness, has its own grace. You sit near the window, feeling sunlight rest on your shoulder. The warmth travels inward, melting the coldness that morning brings. You breathe slow and full, letting the air trace the shape of your lungs. Something inside shifts, small but certain. You realize that stillness isn't the enemy. It's an invitation. Your shoulder doesn't hurt because it's weak. It hurts because it's asking to be heard. You've spent years listening to others, children, friends, work, life, but rarely to yourself. Now, your body speaks softly through the language of tension and pause. And for the first time, you listen. You notice how the shoulder rises when you breathe in, how it lowers when you breathe out. You notice the tiny tremor when you roll it back, the quiet stretch beneath the skin. Each movement feels fragile, like rediscovering trust. You move gently, exploring the edges of your own comfort. There's no rush, no finish line, only presence. The stiffness remains, but so does patience. And patience, you learn, is a kind of strength too. You start to understand that flexibility isn't about youth. It's about awareness, about kindness, about the courage to move again, even when it's slow. You sip your tea and smile at the thought. Maybe the body remembers what the heart forgets. That every motion, no matter how small, is a form of life. And even after 60, there's still rhythm, still warmth, still dance. You lift your shoulder once more, breathe, and let it fall. The air feels lighter. The morning feels new. And for a moment, you do too. It began on a quiet afternoon, when the house felt too still to ignore. You stood near the window, watching the light shift across the floor. The world outside moved with its usual pace, yet something inside you wanted to join it. You weren't sure why, but the thought of moving again felt both strange and hopeful. You placed your hand on your shoulder and felt the gentle pull of time. There was no rush, no reason to hurry, only a quiet wish to feel connected again. You took a breath, slow and steady, and let it fill the space between thought and motion. For a moment, your chest expanded like a tide returning home. You exhaled, feeling the air leave softly, carrying with it a piece of hesitation. That was the first step, not a grand gesture, just a breath that meant begin again. You reached your arm forward, cautious, unsure if it would listen. It did, though slowly, like an old friend remembering your name. The muscles trembled slightly, not in pain but in awakening. You smiled at that small movement, the kind of smile that lives quietly in gratitude. Your shoulder made a faint sound, a whisper more than a crack. It felt like a language your body once spoke fluently. And you were learning it again, one phrase at a time. You rolled your shoulders back, feeling the stretch trace down your spine. It wasn't smooth, not yet, but it was real. Each small motion brought warmth, like light returning to forgotten corners. You felt alive, not because you moved far, but because you moved at all. The floor creaked softly beneath your feet, a rhythm joining your breath. You started to find comfort in the sound, as if the house approved of your effort. You moved one arm across your chest, holding it gently with the other hand. The stretch deepened, quiet but clear. It felt tender, almost emotional, like reaching toward a memory of strength. Your breath slowed again, guiding each motion. Inhale, the shoulders lift, creating space. Exhale, the tension softens, melting into calm. You repeated this rhythm, slow and mindful, until it became familiar. There was no pain, only awareness. No goal, only presence. You began to realize how much of life had been spent in hurry. How often you ignored the body's whispers, chasing the noise outside. Now in this slow dance with breath and motion, you felt something return. Trust. Not the kind you demand, but the kind you earn through patience. You paused, standing still, eyes closed. The air around you seemed softer, the world quieter. You could feel your pulse, gentle and steady, reminding you that you are here. Still capable. Still whole. Still moving. You opened your eyes and lifted your arm once more. This time it felt easier. Not perfect, but freer. And that freedom, small, humble, honest, was enough. You whispered to yourself, barely louder than a breath. I can still move. And the body, grateful and forgiving, whispered back. Yes, you always could. The next morning arrived with a hush, the kind that feels like a blank page waiting. You sat in your quiet corner, the same window, the same light, but something felt different. You had moved yesterday, and your body remembered. Not through soreness, but through awareness. Your shoulders spoke softly now, not in stiffness, but in whispers of readiness. You placed both hands on your knees and felt your breath move. Inhale, slow, patient, gentle. Exhale, longer, lighter, freeing. You didn't count, didn't measure, you just listened to the rhythm. It came naturally, like waves returning to shore after years away. Each breath felt like a conversation with the body. The air entered with kindness and left with forgiveness. You began to notice how breath changes everything. When you inhale, space appears. When you exhale, the weight disappears. You let that thought linger. Maybe breath was never just air. Maybe it was memory, carrying stories through the lungs, through time. You inhaled again, lifting your shoulders gently. You felt the stretch move up the sides of your neck, slow and steady. Then you exhaled, letting them fall, melting into warmth. The motion was small, almost invisible, but inside it felt vast. Your breath became your guide, a soft rhythm beneath every motion. You realized the body doesn't follow force. It follows trust. And trust begins with breath. You placed your palm over your heart and felt it move under your hand. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. The sound of breathing filled the silence around you, calm and real. You rolled one shoulder forward, then back, syncing the movement with each breath. The rhythm began to settle in, slow, deep, intentional. You could almost hear the whisper of muscles waking. No tension, just awareness. Each inhale gave courage. Each exhale gave peace. You remembered how often you had rushed through movement before. Exercise used to mean effort, sweat, speed. But this was different. This was care, not performance. This was conversation, not command. You continued, lifting your shoulders up toward your ears. Held for a breath. Then released them slowly, as if letting go of years of holding on. You exhaled deeply, eyes closed. The air left with a sound almost like relief. In that quiet you smiled. Because for the first time, you weren't fighting your body. You were listening to it. The stillness wasn't emptiness anymore. It was balance. Your breath had become a bridge between the body and the moment, between age and vitality, between silence and movement. You opened your eyes again and let the next breath arrive naturally. Soft, steady, sure. You realized then, breath isn't just part of the stretch. It is the stretch. It carries you, holds you, heals you. And in every inhale, you are reminded that life still flows beautifully through you. You begin again the next day, the air quiet, the light soft on your skin. Your breath comes easily now, a rhythm that feels familiar, like a song returning home. You lift your arms slowly, letting your fingers reach toward the sky. The motion feels slow, almost fragile, but there is a calm strength beneath it. Your shoulders rise, not with strain but with grace. You hold the stretch for a breath, feeling space bloom within the joints. Then you exhale and let your arms fall gently to your sides. The movement is small, yet it carries peace through every inch of you. You remind yourself, this isn't about reaching higher. It's about moving kindly. You roll one shoulder forward, drawing a circle through the air. Then back, tracing the same line, slower this time. You feel warmth spreading like sunlight after rain. There's no sharpness, only release. You notice how your breath follows your motion, how stillness follows your breath. You close your eyes and let the body guide itself. The sound of your movement is barely there, like leaves turning in wind. You switch sides, rolling the other shoulder, finding balance through motion. The muscles respond softly, grateful for the patience you've given them. Inhale, lift. Exhale, soften. The rhythm feels almost sacred now, simple yet profound. You reach one arm across your chest, holding it lightly with the other hand. The stretch deepens, a quiet invitation to let go of tension. You feel the pull, but it's gentle, like a conversation between trust and release. You breathe through it, not forcing, only flowing. Each exhale melts another layer of stiffness away. You hold for 3 breaths, eyes still closed, feeling the warmth spread down your arm. Then slowly you release, letting the arm fall free. Your body thanks you in silence. You move to the next stretch, fingers interlaced behind your back. You straighten your arms, opening the chest, drawing the shoulders gently backward. The movement awakens something deeper, pride, maybe, or quiet courage. You hold, breathe, and feel your heart expand with space. Your shoulders open wider, the spine stands taller, the breath deepens. And in that stillness, you realize how movement can be love in action. You release the pose and shake your arms softly. The warmth remains, humming through the muscles. Not a burn, not fatigue, just energy, alive and kind. You lift one arm again, slower this time, as if greeting yourself. You smile because it no longer feels like effort. It feels like understanding. You move again, not to perfect a shape, but to honor the body that carried you here. The body that worked, held, endured, and waited for you to listen. You end the stretch with a long exhale, the kind that feels like a quiet thank you. For the breath, for the body, for the moment. And in that moment, everything feels lighter. Because you are no longer stretching to change yourself. You are stretching to remember yourself. The warmth begins softly, almost unnoticed at first. It moves like a slow ripple from your shoulders to your arms, gentle and kind. You pause to feel it, to truly notice what your body is offering back. It isn't heat from effort, but warmth from awakening. You roll your shoulders once more, smaller this time, smoother than before. The stiffness that once clung to you now feels like it's dissolving. Each motion is fluid, connected, almost graceful. You breathe in, and the air feels cleaner, somehow lighter. You exhale, and the weight of years seems to fade with it. This isn't magic, it's presence. The warmth builds, spreading along your back, down to your elbows, into your hands. You can feel blood moving freely, a quiet current of renewal. You realize how alive the body feels when treated gently. You move your arm upward again, slower now, savoring the freedom. There's a rhythm forming, one that belongs only to you. It's not about control, but about flow. You let the shoulder rotate outward, then inward, tracing invisible circles. The motion feels natural, even familiar, like something you once knew well. You close your eyes, and the world narrows to the sound of breath and motion. Nothing else matters in this small, sacred moment. You are here fully, peacefully, completely. Your mind drifts to memories of younger days, when movement was thoughtless. You remember laughter, dancing, reaching out to hug without hesitation. Those moments live inside this warmth. 2. They never truly left. They were waiting for space to return. You lift your chin slightly, letting the sunlight brush against your face. The warmth outside meets the warmth within, blending like a quiet harmony. You breathe deeper, longer, feeling energy flow through every part of you. It's not power. It's peace. You understand now that motion can heal in silence. You don't need to push or prove anything. You only need to listen. You lower your arms and rest them softly at your sides. The tingling sensation lingers, not pain but presence. A reminder that the body, even after decades, still knows how to renew. You begin small shoulder rolls again, almost playful now. They come easier, lighter, smoother with every turn. You feel younger, not in age but in spirit. As if time has paused to let you breathe a little deeper. You whisper to yourself, I can still feel this. And the truth of it makes you smile. You move once more, a slow stretch across the chest, opening space for the heart. You hold it there, letting the warmth expand, wrapping you from within. It feels like gratitude, quiet, whole, and human. You stay in that stillness for a while, breathing softly, letting the warmth settle. The stiffness is gone. In its place remains movement, calm, and a deep, quiet joy. You open your eyes, and the world feels wide again. Alive again. And so are you. You wake to the sound of morning again, soft and unhurried. The light feels different now, not sharp, not distant, but warm and close. You move your shoulders before even thinking about it. They rise and fall with ease, like breath made visible. There's no tension, no struggle, just rhythm. The same rhythm that took days to find, now lives quietly inside you. You stand near the window again, looking out at the gentle day. The air feels familiar, as if it recognizes you. You lift one arm slowly, testing the memory of movement. It answers smooth, calm, certain. You smile because it no longer feels like effort. It feels like grace. Your body, once hesitant, now flows with quiet confidence. Every joint, every breath, every pause feels connected. You roll your shoulders back and notice the sound, no stiffness, only silence. The silence of harmony. You realize this is what healing sounds like. Not in grand gestures, but in the absence of resistance. You take a slow breath in, filling every corner of your chest. And as you exhale, peace flows out, patient and steady. You close your eyes and remember how far you've come. From the first hesitant movement to this gentle, natural rhythm. From fear to trust. From stillness to flow. You reach both arms outward, stretching wide, opening to the world. It feels like greeting life again, softly but fully. You hold the stretch for a moment, long enough to feel your heart expand. Then you release, slow and mindful, letting your hands rest over your heart. You whisper not as a thought but as truth, "I'm still here." And your body answers, "Yes, beautifully so." The warmth returns, but now it's not from effort or motion. It's from peace, the kind that settles deep inside. You understand now that flexibility isn't just about the body. It's about how the spirit learns to bend without breaking. How the heart learns to stay open, even after years of holding back. You move again, smaller now, slower, savoring each breath. The stretch becomes prayer. The stillness becomes gratitude. You think of the years that passed, the ones that taught patience. You think of the body that carried you through them all, quietly and faithfully. And you thank it, not with words but with movement. A gentle roll. A deep breath. A slow, easy smile. The morning grows brighter, and so do you. You feel light, grounded, alive. Not young but timeless. Because in this moment, you are not counting years. You are simply here, breathing, moving, existing. And that is enough. You lower your arms and stand still, the body calm, the mind clear. This is not the end. It is a beginning, slow, kind, and beautifully alive. The day fades softly, the light turning gold before it leaves. You sit quietly, feeling the calm settle deep within your shoulders. Each breath moves easily now, smooth as water over stone. There is no tension, only peace. You close your eyes and listen to the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. It feels steady, kind, familiar. You realize this practice was never just about movement. It was about remembering how to be gentle with yourself. About trusting the body that still carries you, even after all these years. You smile small and real, as warmth spreads through your chest. The room feels larger somehow, the air softer. You lift your hands once more, slow and easy, as if saying thank you. Not to the world, but to yourself. For showing up. For moving, even when it felt hard. For choosing kindness over speed. You take one last breath, long and quiet, letting it fill every part of you. Then you let it go, slow and steady. Over 60, and still growing, still learning, still alive. You whisper softly into the calm, "I am enough." And for once, every part of you believes it.